Christian Polite is the engineer in charge of the tail fin, known as the vertical tailplane, or VTP. The fitting has not gone smoothly, but finally it's time to install the last piece. It's a camera that gives the pilot a bird's eye view from the very top of the fin, some 75 feet up.
Right now we're going up to the almost to the very top of the vertical tailplane in order to install the last component which remains on the VTP still left. Yeah? You can easily see that this part is only screwed to the structure by, I guess, 20 screws around, and it has to be connected to the electric system via these two little connectors. The signals are transferred via a fiber optical cable down to a monitor in the cockpit.
Here at the Airbus factory in Stade, Germany, back in February 2004, Christian oversaw the final construction of the largest carbon fiber fin ever conceived. The ambitious scale of the production process meant there were always going to be problems.
We started with a schedule which allowed us to assemble the first fin within a reasonable time, but in fact we encountered problems which delayed the time for the assembly, and to worsen the situation, the lead time was shortened. So we ended up with a lead time that was nearly half of the original lead time we planned.
Although the fin was delivered on time, Christian's work was not finished. The fin was delivered with so many jobs left to do that he had to move to France to continue the work.
We came here and thought we have a good planning, we have a good time schedule, we have everything on hand, but it wasn't like that. The moment we started working, we had to change each and every point. The planning was upside down, and so we had to just to start to work. So that's the way you can find the way through the jungle. Yeah?
Now though, as the screws go in on the camera, the end is in sight.
It's a good sound. That means the screw is in. With every screw we're a little step towards the end, yeah?
But then there's a problem.
Nee.
The fiber optic cable is too short to reach the camera.
Ja, da hast du nichts mehr. The connector is here, and the cable ends here, and we have to have another 1 centimeter, about half an inch, which is the cable too short. I mean, but these are, yeah, these moments really piss me off. I mean, when you're almost done, so close, you can see the end. You almost stepped over the line, and then someone blocks you, hits you in the face, saying, "Hey, you're not yet done." How could you imagine?
Despite the setbacks, in other areas things are going to plan. Now they can begin mounting the engines, one of the most impressive and expensive single parts of the whole aircraft. Together, 4 of these giant Rolls-Royce Trent 900s cost nearly £36 million. That's the same as 4 tons of solid gold, a quarter of the cost of the finished plane. Flight testing began back in May 2004, when the new engine was bolted onto an Airbus A340, a much smaller airliner. It dwarfs the other engines. Weighing over 6 tons, the Trent 900 can produce up to 35 tons of thrust at full power, burning a gallon of fuel every 4 seconds. These early tests proved the engine at altitude, But there's a much, much tougher test to come. Here in Hucknall, Nottinghamshire, another test engine will soon be a smoking ruin, deliberately destroyed as part of a dramatic and crucial safety test. It's an important milestone for the entire A380 project, and as engineer Hilary Barton travels to the test, she admits to some nerves.
I must admit, I've got a few butterflies at the moment, but basically everybody's done the preparation and it's just now a matter of getting on and doing the test. But obviously before the engine starts, you're sitting there just kind of hoping it all go well, but just really waiting for it to happen now.
Every few years, a fan blade will fail in a jet engine somewhere in the world. A rare but violent event that must not put lives in danger. At the root of the coloured blade is an explosive charge. With the engine at full power, it will be detonated, releasing the blade with astonishing force. Whatever happens, the blade must not be allowed to burst out of the engine, where, in real life, it could do serious damage to the rest of the aircraft. In a room 200 yards away, watching via a video link, are 25 key personnel, each hoping the test goes as planned. In the split second the blade is released, the engine must successfully contain an enormous amount of energy.
It is a very violent test. This thing is spinning round, it's at full power, so you've got the forces on the blade are quite significant. It's like having a locomotive hanging on that blade. So you're obviously having to contain the energy of that system. So there's a lot of energy involved in the design and containment of the blade. I mean, the whole engine will get a huge big shape.
As ever, the size of the A380 increases the challenge. The bigger the engine, the bigger the blades, and the greater the energy released if one were to fail. Spinning at 3,000 revolutions per minute, the blades experience a force of more than 7,000 times their own weight. So everything is done to make them as light and as strong as possible. A top-secret process molds the plates from ultra-strong, ultra-light titanium alloy. To save further weight, the blades are heated to 900 degrees in a furnace until they're softened. The gas is pumped into cavities inside the blade, inflating it like a long, thin balloon. The result is a hollow part curved in 3 directions for aerodynamic efficiency. Supremely strong, yet light enough for someone to pick up and move quite easily. Each one costs the same as a luxury car, and a full set of 24 are about to be destroyed in the name of safety. To begin with, the engine is run at low power, so final checks can be made. Over in the viewing room, Hilary Barton and her colleagues are anxiously waiting. The main concern is that as the blade is blown free, the casing around the fan absorbs the huge impact and prevents potentially lethal shrapnel from escaping. High-speed film cameras are used to analyze the action, and at last the throttles are opened and the engine brought to its full, awesome power. This is what it feels like to be inside a building 200 yards away from a £9 million blade-off event. Blade-off testing is normally top secret.